Introducing Zoho One. Zoho One gives you a unified suite of business and productivity applications to manage your sales, marketing, customer support, HR, finance and operations, custom solutions, and more. All the business applications in Zoho One are fully integrated. With a unified app suite like Zoho One that seamlessly connects your marketing and sales, you can now measure the effectiveness of your marketing campaigns based on the leads and deals it generates. You can also connect sales with your inventory management system to update stock counts. Likewise, you can streamline your invoices by integrating your sales and accounting, automate sourcing, tracking, and hiring to recruit the best talent and build great teams. When your business runs on one unified suite of apps, silos dissolve and insightful strategies emerge. When apps work together, your business runs better. Zoho One, the operating system for business.
Hello, well, good day and welcome to everybody on all the different social media platforms for our Zoho Live episode. I'm joined today with Paul Wilson from DSL Telecom. Paul, welcome.
How's it, Andrew? Thanks for having me.
Nice. Okay, Paul, let's get into it. So I've got a few questions for you. How long have you been a Zoho partner?
So we've been partners since about September 2012, so about 8 years now. Yeah, been venturing on to 10 years.
Okay, brilliant. And how long have you been using Zoho's technology?
So we've been using the product since the end of 2010, early 2011. We started using the CRM system in our own business. We also sell telecommunications products, phone systems to businesses, and we started using the CRM product and the desk product from a support perspective. And after seeing the change that it gave us and our business, we thought it was just too good not to share with the rest of the country and the rest of hopefully Africa.
Yes, no, definitely. And which type of businesses have you helped implement Zoho's technology or various technologies?
Okay, wow. So it's been such a long time. We've been doing this since 2012. So also in the South African market, we've been sort of predominantly the only Zoho partner. So we've helped a lot of businesses. We've helped various industries from education, construction, people in the transport industry, finance, various industries we've looked at, and all sizes of businesses, companies of one person to companies of 280 people. I've always said from a technology perspective, sometimes the smaller guys or the guys with the less people need more technology than the bigger guys.
Yes, no, definitely. I completely agree with you. And so you've been a partner since 2012. Which has been the best Zoho product that has been created, in your opinion?
Since that time, in the last 8 years, there's been a lot of advancements. I think anyone who's been working with Zoho, using Zoho for a long time would have seen this. I think back then there was about 25 applications available. And I think today, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I think there's about in the region of 50 to 60 apps available. We're seeing new apps come available every time. So if I had to really pinpoint down to one product, it's a tough question. But I'd have to take Zoho One. Zoho One being a bundle of products. So it's the grouping of all applications together at a single price point. It's been a massive game changer in the South African market. I think from the South African perspective, cost has always been an issue, and with the rand to dollar exchange, most applications in the industry relying on this rand to dollar exchange, cost has always been a issue. And Zoho One sort of eradicated this. Having a bundle of products at a single price point really changed the game. And also having those applications at your fingertips, having them available to work with and to use, really makes a big difference. So I think if I had to choose any particular product, it's definitely be Zoho One, and I'm sure many people will agree with that.
No, definitely. I totally agree with you. Okay, let's get into the South African business focus questions. So a lot of South African businesses are having to implement business continuity planning now. What is your advice to business owners needing to implement technology to allow their staff to just work, collaborate, and communicate during this time?
Obviously, it's been a trying time for everyone. We've dealt with a lot of businesses. We work with a lot of people in different industries, and we've seen how some industries have thrived and some people have suffered. But one of the sort of the golden thread that we've seen through that is that companies have been able to use technology as a crutch or as a tool to advance. So, in terms of business continuity, technology, I think it's important to remember that change is important. Change is going to happen whether we enforce the change or whether it's enforced on us. And technology can be used to excel through these times. So we've seen it, having the Zoho One platform and most of our customers working with the Zoho One platform and having tools like Zoho Click, Zoho Meeting, cloud-based telephony systems really has made a difference in allowing companies to power through this time. And I think it's important to note that it's not about this time. We can talk about COVID, and it's something that I typically want to steer away from, because things happen. Things happen, and it's going to happen again. It's not just now that we're dealing with it. Sure, it's been a trying time, but it's going to happen again. And if we're not prepared as business and from a technology perspective, we're going to feel it. People will feel it, and if they're not prepared, it becomes a problem where it can actually become a tool and something that we can be used to thrive off. Especially in the South African, what we've seen in the South African market, our customers that have had the ability to change and to adapt using technology are the guys that are coming out on top, because they're just so much more advanced, and their competitors are almost doing nothing. So yeah,
No,
we've definitely seen a lot of change and technology being on the forefront of that.
No, definitely. Completely agree with you. I've seen a lot of companies as well that have been prepared, and then some that haven't been prepared. And I think it's not something right now. It's something that's going to happen in the future. And also the technology advancements are allowing businesses to be able to have their staff work remotely if the need comes along. So another question that I have for you is, how do business owners get their staff to accept this change with new technology that they might not be familiar with?
That's a good one, Andrew. It's probably, when we talk about change and change management throughout technology implementations, it's probably one of the most important things. When I say important things, it's one of the biggest issues or hurdles we deal with is getting people to change, because we all know with technology and with data, the software is only as good as the person using the software. It's only as good as the data that's inputted into it. If it's not there and it doesn't happen, then the technology it takes second seat, and it's almost worthless. So getting people to change is something that's very important, and it's something that we take very close to heart when it comes to implementing these products for customers. It's where a lot of our focus lies, and with change, there's sort of with employee change. First and foremost, I think one of the most important things is from business owners and directors and managers: are we choosing the correct software? First of all, does the software or the technology suit the need? If we can answer that question correctly, then we're going to have a higher uptake and change is going to be easier. But then secondary to that, we look at the staff and the users. They're potentially the most important part of this puzzle. If they don't fit, the technology doesn't fit, right? And there's two sides to the coin. We'll always look at it from two angles. One way is we've got to force people to use the technology, right? So we always look at the stick and the carrot. So the stick is we've got to force people to do it. We've got to take things away if they don't use it correctly. Remember, data is important. Data is valuable. And the second is the carrot. The carrot is training. We've got to train people and teach people that the software is not there to make life harder. It's not there to change. It is there to change the way things are done, but always for the better. And it's there to make your life easier. And I think often from the surface, a technology changes hard for people inherently. Um, and if we can teach people the power that it gives them individually, we definitely see a better uptake, better usage from staff, from employees, and in turn, definitely better productivity and growth from the technology itself.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I mean, if staff aren't using the technology, it becomes maybe more of a hindrance to a business instead of a benefit.
Exactly.
So then,
100%.
the next question I have for you is, how can South African businesses differentiate themselves from their competitors by using various types of technology?
It's an interesting one. I think I think all businesses understand that technology is a necessity. It's not a nice to have anymore. It's definitely a necessity. If the guys that aren't using technology are definitely going to fall behind. And we're seeing that in the marketplace. We're seeing that the people using technology definitely are excelling and moving forward. I remember we've been doing this since 2012, working with customers and technologies in their own businesses. And in those days, the pen and paper was the preferred method of storing data and storing information. Um, Things have changed dramatically. I think as the younger generations come through and start businesses, the idea of technology, these people have grown up with technology. The idea of technology is certainly embraced more. So we're seeing a lot of the younger CEOs, the younger managers, the younger business owners embracing technology and seeing advancements and competitive edges over their competitors. If we're to look at elements of technology that make a difference in business, it really comes down to customer service at the end of the day. I think a happy business has happy customers, right? So if we can use technology to keep our customers happy, we're definitely going to have a competitive advantage. And we've seen things like customer portals, process flow, so defined process flow where data's kept and accessed easily, so people can monitor. If there's a complaint or if a customer needs anything, they can have quick access to this data. Obviously, the pen and paper and the diary method was never really worked for this. It always took time. You had to page back. That follow up with the customer, being able to follow up and track from a sales perspective or from a customer service perspective, being able to track where that deal is and making sure that communication and that relationship is built up front makes a big difference. So CRM systems, CRM obviously one of the primary Zoho products we see out there. We've definitely seen this to be one of the major competitive edges of customers using them versus customers not using them. And then just for a business to understand the value of data, I think is important. If we had to look from a business perspective in the South African industry anyway, but probably in the worldwide industry, is a business's two biggest assets are, one, its staff, so the people that operate, so it's staff and customers, so people, and second is the data. If the data is looked after, if it's cared about, if it's looked after, cared about, and updated regularly, we definitely have more value within the business. And I think the guys that are doing this and using technology to do this are definitely a couple of steps ahead of the rest.
Okay.
So I think from a data perspective, that's where we're seeing advancements. or the competitive edge.
Perfect. Yes, definitely. All right, the next question I have for you is when looking for various technologies or looking at a technology solution, what is the most important thing for South African businesses just to look out for?
So yeah, I think everyone in South Africa who's watching this right now will agree with me. I think cost is a major one. Cost always has been a major one. Cost is very important. So business will always look at cost first and foremost. Somewhere where Zoho has excelled has been in cost and pricing, and this new release of the South African pricing really is making a difference, and we're seeing people make that decision of technology a little bit easier now that it's not linked to the dollar rand exchange rate. So cost are
Yes.
always put at the forefront. Secondary is security. Again, like I said previously, is that data is important and data is valuable, right? So there's not good security, or we can't manage users correctly. It's definitely something that South African businesses look out for. Our data is valuable, and should it get into the wrong hands, it can become a problem. So security, and then integrations. So as we grow and technology becomes used more widely in business, what we've noticed is that different departments, different sectors in the business start to find apps that they need to use, right? And having these apps talk to each other and integrate with each other is definitely something that we need to look out for. And I suppose that brings me back to the Zoho One product. Why Zoho One was my favorite, because it just gave the power of these applications to the business. You wouldn't have to go and look for an application to do another job. Your support team would have Zoho Desk available for them. Your sales team and the company has Zoho CRM. There was digital signing tools. There was Click for internal communication. Things just there available that easily integrate to each other. Certainly makes a big difference, and it's something that we've seen probably in only the last year, where businesses have changed the dynamic of looking for a software application to patch a hole or to patch a gap, where we now actually progressing towards the software suite. So the suite of applications as a platform to run a business as a full platform, rather than individual departments or sectors using their own apps and their own little tools.
Okay.
Yeah,
No.
and then flexibility. So one of the things within South African business is every South African business likes to be themselves. They like to put their own mark on things. It's quite interesting because we go in for implementations, often in sales environments, and every South African business owners they want to do it their way. They've got their own way of doing it, and I always sort of play devil's advocate, and I say to them, but you're selling a product or a service. It's the same as everyone else. There isn't different, right? But South Africans put their mark on it. They like to do things their own way. So from a technology perspective, flexibility is important. It's important to be able to adapt and to build a system to manage your flow, your process, to put your own mark on it.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. A lot of South African businesses are very unique, and I think the one thing is that you can customize the solution to really fit your business, which is it's a really good thing for businesses to look out for. I wanted to find out from you, what type of features, like technology features, are most requested by the South African market?
It's an interesting question. We obviously worked in many sectors. So we worked in many industries, many sectors, and every sort of industry or sector has a specific request and the way they want to do things, and they want things done in a certain way, which is natural, right? That's going to happen. If I had to look at the overarching features or requests, probably things like payment gateway, so integration to a payment gateway where they can streamline their payments and collections. So debit orders, I know there's those subscriptions products been people have looked for it and wanted to use this type of application a lot in the past, but not having that debit collection integration has been a hindrance in this. I know we are working on payment gateway integrations, and we're hopefully going to have it soon. But definitely payment collections has been a request that we've seen a lot for, and then telephony integration. And I think telephony integration is one that I've personally have hold very close to my heart, because I've been working on it for the last 2 years to try and get a good South African phone system that integrates to the to software products or to CRM products in specifics, right? And we as DSL Telecom finally have one of these products that sits it sits in South Africa, so we don't have any voice quality issues. It integrates with many products, so being one of them, but it also integrates with other CRM systems in the market. But we've seen it's made a big difference to customers that have taken it in and started using it. What we've seen is that with technology and with working remotely, being able to monitor and be able to understand how people are operating has been important. And I think integrating something like telephony has made all the difference, because not only can we see that people on phone calls and work remotely from a cloud hosted or a cloud-based system, but we can also report on it, and we can see what phone calls have made to what customers, at what time, how long that call has been made for. And we can start to look at the data, and we can start to dig in the data. One of my managers came to me the other day, and he asked me he wanted to know when was contactability the best. And because we have this integrated phone system, we could build a report, and we could understand at what time of the day do we have the best contactability, what time's the best to call customers. So yeah, telephony has definitely been something that's been requested throughout the 8 years that we've been working with Zoho. It's something that we've had available for probably about 3 months now. We had a couple of teething issues, but it's now, I'm happy to say, it's 100% ready. We're ready to roll it out. So it's been 2 years of work, and a lot of customers asking for these things, and a lot of want and need, and it's finally here. Other than that, if we move back to talk about process and how customers want their own process, I think one of the features that stands out, not necessarily that's been requested, but that has been used the most since it's been implemented, is the blueprint. So blueprint, it really allows customers to put their own mark, their own process, their own flow onto the system, and it helps with that change management we were talking about earlier. It defines the process, defines the flow. So yeah, the blueprint, yeah. And again, on top of that, there's various requests that we get, but most of them are sort of specific to that particular business. Sort of those 2 or 3 really stand out amongst the rest.
Yes, no, I can completely agree with you. The blueprint feature is a really good feature for businesses to make use of. And I think also you got a demo video of your telephony integration into Zoho CRM. And people can find that on the DSL Telecom YouTube channel, if I'm not mistaken. So people can go ahead and also check that out. Okay, perfect.
It's there, and if anyone wants a in-person demo, we can also organize that too.
No, that is great. Okay, and we have noticed, what has been like the biggest hurdle for South African businesses in the onboarding process to onboard the technology and the products into their business?
So yeah, it's interesting, and I think it's, as I said earlier at the beginning of this session, we've worked with multiple companies, multiple industries, 1 user to 280 users, and there's various hurdles that different businesses or size businesses or types of businesses have when it comes to implementing the software. So the first hurdle obviously is choice. Am I choosing the right software? right? So we've got to make sure that it is the right fit. The first thing I say to when we go sit down with a customer, and we talk about the products and how we're going to implement and how we can implement, the first thing I say to them is, oh, we've got to be 100% sure that this is the right product and it's going to work for you guys. Because if it's not, you're wasting your time and I'm wasting my time. And we might as well stop right here. It's quite a harsh thing to say, and maybe it comes across as a bit, maybe it's not what the customer necessarily wants to hear, but it is important. It's important that the choice is made correctly from the beginning. And then when it comes to after that, and we actually start with the implementation or moving forward, different businesses have different problems. I mean, cost is definitely one of them. So, and then time is another one. So if we look at time and cost sort of together, the smaller guys, cost is a big issue, and for the bigger guys, time can be a big issue. So, to do an implementation can often be quite a costly exercise. It takes a lot of work and it takes a lot of time to get things right. So we sort of over the last 8 years we've looked at this and we've tried to develop different ways to assist different businesses, and we've tried different things, and some have worked and some haven't worked. But what we've done now is we've tried to create products that accommodate South African businesses of all types. So we've got training where we can go in and give administrative training for customers to learn how to do it themselves. One of the beauty of the Zoho products is, I've always said, is the fact that it's not rocket science to go and put this in for yourselves. To implement a system is not rocket science, but to implement it properly just takes the know-how. So we've got training that gives customers the know-how, lets them understand how to do it. We've got full implementation products where we partner with multiple development firms, where we can do anything. The sky is really the limit. And for complex implementations, this is often what people choose. So we've got full implementation, we've got training, and then one of the biggest hurdles, which we talk about, is not necessarily the implementation or getting the software in. That's almost the easy part. That's the easy part. The biggest hurdle is probably actually utilizing the system thereafter. So progressing it throughout. These technology products that we're talking about, it's not a once-off thing. Implementation is often perceived to be, they're going to set the system up and then it's just going to be perfect for the rest of time. These products are certainly evolutionary. They need to grow with the business. Businesses change all the time. I think we've all seen that in the last 8 weeks. I think maybe everyone who owns business listening will attest to that things change, and things change whether we want it to change or whether we're forced to change. So these products being an evolutionary thing, growth is important, and that comes with training and teaching and understanding. So we've also, as DSR Telecom, we've also put together sort of what we call customer success packages. Right, so it's not a support package. People often say, "Oh, well, it's support." It's not support at all. It's success, and it's about driving the system to success. And especially when we're talking about a suite of applications, it's important to get the value out of that. Something as simple as Zoho Lens. Many people listening probably don't know what that is. It's a smaller product, but it can be used very effectively. And having someone or a partner or someone to work with that really understands these things and understands your business, we found makes a big difference. So we've got these customer success packages that we've put together that we find are really making a big difference to businesses and implementing these products. And then over and above that, sometimes it's, you don't need that. Sometimes you can do it yourself. You don't need a partner to help you. And sometimes what you need is just a sounding board. So what we've also done is, as customers come across and we link up with customers and help them make the right choices in terms of technology, we're also there to give them advice, and sometimes just to tell them that their ideas are bad and it's not going to work because we've seen it at other places, or to tell them that it's a great idea. So that sounding board we feel makes a big difference to successful implementation. And one of the hurdles, I guess one of the hurdles, or the biggest hurdles, is people they don't know. They don't know what the possibilities are. And often we see with technology, people implementing technology themselves, they end up using about 5 to 10% of the available of the tools available in the technology, and obviously there's a lot more available. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so it's
No,
about
I
helping them get
completely
through
agree
that.
with you. Yeah. I mean, just exactly what you said. I've seen so many people get the technology and they can do it themselves. But the thing is that they're not experienced like yourself. So they might get through it. It might take them, let's say, like quite a few months or maybe even years to kind of get the system to work how they really need it to work. Whereas if they come to you with all your experience, you kind of point them in the right direction because the system can be coded in so many different ways. You can have it flow in so many different ways. And I think it is actually vital that a business goes to somebody like yourself who's got the knowledge to kind of say to them, listen, yeah, you can do it that way. But I've found in my, you know, uh, 10 plus years of experience that this is a better way to do it. So definitely completely agree with you that it's something, it is a hurdle when, a person takes the system and tries to build themselves and then eventually realizes that it's not working. So no, that's definitely very good
100%.
advice. And I'd like to also just thank you for coming on live with us on Zoho Live and sharing your insight and your knowledge and experience with us and the viewers. And it's been very, very insightful and just really, really thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and just to Zoho, keep doing what you guys are doing. It's great to see. It's great to see the advancement, and it's great to see everything happen quickly and giving the customers what they need. So thanks for having me. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to share a bit of knowledge. I hope people can learn from it, and I hope it makes a difference.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Paul.
Thanks, Andrew.